Alright, this is Greg from Gamers Guide to Life, and we're going to take a first look at the Grinder. And here are two developers here who are introducing themselves now.
Hi, I'm Matt Corso, the art director from High Voltage Software.
Hello, I'm David Pellas, the design director, High Voltage Software.
Alright, well let's hear about this Grinder.
So the Grinder is High Voltage Software's original title that we're doing for the Xbox 360, PS3. We're going to take you through the demo a little bit, but what you're about to see is a top-down Monster Hunter game that we're doing that's very much based on an old game that we had done years ago called Hunter the Reckoning, which is very popular for our studio. And so years later, we decided when we first set out to make Grinder for Nintendo Wii, we had done the game as a first-person shooter, but when we switched over to the PS3 360, we wanted to do something a little more special. So what we decided to do was go back to our roots, do something that was a little more like what we as a development studio felt more excited about, and that was to go back and try to make a better version of the game that we set out to make 10 years ago. So right now what we're about to show you is our current working version. There are a few bugs, so just keep that in mind if we run into any issues or glitches along the way, but it's of course work in progress. So let me go ahead and start up the game, and I'll take you in and show an intro video, and then I'll show you a little bit about some of the gameplay. I'm going to just turn it up here. It's a 4-player on-screen cooperative game, and so we'll just go ahead and choose from our characters. We have Hector, AJ, Nico, and Doc. Dave, who would you like to choose?
I want to take AJ.
Right.
She's the hot one.
All right, you go for it. I'll go ahead and choose Hector. All right, here we go.
And as Matt said, it is a 4-player cooperative, same screen experience locally, but we are going to support online play as well.
Very good.
Life is pretty good here in Molino. We got everything a mining town could need. God-fearing citizens that know the meaning of a hard day's work. The richest storm crystal deposits in the Western Hemisphere. Refined into clean, dependable energy. Creating the most advanced technology known to man. All thanks to the good folks at Hickok Paramagnetics. But they might have dug a tad too deep. And since then, we've got a bit of a pest control problem. So we called in some specialized exterminators to deal with it. Hector, the muscle. AJ, the brains. Nico, the outlaw. And Doc, well, he fancies himself a genuine shaman. But we think he's just crazy. They ain't exactly no run-of-the-mill exterminators, but then again, our pests ain't exactly normal. Welcome to Molino. I hope you survive your visit.
Okay, so just a little bit about how the game plays. If any of you online have seen this game back at E3, or GDC rather, earlier this year, what you saw was an early version of the Molino, our fictional town, on the outer catwalks. Well, in the demo since then, we've done a lot of work to expand our level design, so there's a lot more for you to see. So let's go ahead and run through. We're only going to be out in this area for a short while.
Vampires! From the outhouse to the cathouse, damn neck biters are all over the place!
Something really cool that I like to comment on is the whole Grindhouse look and feel, the raw, gritty, horrific imagery that you're going to see in the game. Also, we have a lot of comedy that's built into the game as well. The cool thing about our comedy, you know, it's everyone knows that comedy in the game can tend to get a little old, especially if you don't have enough lines, you know, to keep it fresh. The cool thing is all the times I've been demoing this game this week, I keep hearing different lines. So every time we introduce the vampires, every time we introduce the different monsters, there's lots of lines, so it keeps it fresh and funny the whole time. So the controls are aim with the right thumbstick on your Xbox 360 pad, move with the left, fire your weapon with the right trigger, toss grenades. Actually, they're dynamite sticks. Baby dolls. Vampires can't help themselves. They're immediately drawn to the baby doll. Gives you a chance to go in and hang them up or blow them up. We also have Molotov cocktails, and then a whole host of other special weapons that are built into the game. Right now for the demo, there's a bunch of weapons available. Submachine guns, and then of course our storm crystal weapons. Now the thing that's going to make Grinder a little bit more unique and interesting is that
You're hitting on all sixes.
in our fictional world, Hickok, who's the owner of the town, is actually a descendant of Wild Bill Hickok. He actually mines for these special crystals called storm crystals. And the storm crystals are these unique energy crystals that let you do lots of cool technology. So what we're using them for in this game is to power all the machinery and all the devices that are used for the mining, but also they're being used to power the weapons in our game too. So what's cool about that is there's all these unique weapons and it gives us all these possibilities as developers. We just keep coming up with like whatever cool stuff would work best for our game. So right now, just to kind of give you a basic rundown of some of the weapons in the game, and then I'll show you a little bit about some of the storm crystals. Okay, so right now you saw the basic machine guns and things. This is a flame gun. The thing to keep in mind with Grinder is we're basing a lot of our monsters on like the classic monster movie. So you've got vampires, you've got Frankensteins, you've got werewolves. And the thing is, just like in those movies, if you're going to fight a vampire, you're going to want to use wooden stakes. If you're going to fight a werewolf, you're going to want to use silver. If you fight a zombie or you fight a Frankenstein, you use fire. And the other cool thing about that too is the monsters actually have a fear against those things. So if you were to say use fire against the Frankenstein, he tries to get away from it and he's frightened when he sees the fire nearby. So let's get back in.
You want to talk a little bit about the load crystals?
The load crystals that you see here in the game, let me just go ahead to the pause menu. Red crystals, when you see us beating up red crystal loads, will fill up the health for the character. Dark energy are the blue crystals, and again, that powers the weapons. And there's also a special ability that the character can do. We'll show you that in just a minute. And yellow crystals actually fill up your character's XP, which enables you to purchase upgrades for your weapons. There will be skill trees, weapon upgrades, which are currently built into the game. Lots of RPG style elements so that when you play the game, you can keep up enhancing and upgrading your character and make it more fun as you're playing through it and you're progressing.
The goal is to give you a very accessible game experience while still making it a very deep game that you want to keep playing over and over again.
I ain't never quite got my head round the idea of living dead. I mean, they're dead. Just because they move don't mean, screw it.
We both did it. Nice. Each of our enemies is actually weak against particular weapons. So you saw the undead there, and both Matt and I switched to the incendiary weapon, which allows us to set them on fire because that is their weak spot, or weakness. Whereas the vampires are actually weak against the wooden stakes, and therefore whenever we switch to the wooden stake gun, you'll see the stakes actually travel through multiple vampires, and you can actually rack up some pretty decent kill streaks that way. Let's see if I can show that off.
Let's go up by the bridge, and then we can show off the
We got some more over here.
That was the BC.
So of course, you know, your hunters have the ability to fight using their weapons that are at their disposal, but at the same time, they also have some other more advanced features, like the ability to transform them into other creatures. So in this case, I can transform into a werewolf and use my werewolf powers to beat up the monsters. And then the idea is as we continue to develop the game, we're going to create more and more unique types of monsters for the hunters to transform into.
Those rock
and
chambers
those
have
monsters
lots
will each
of
have their own
pointiness.
unique abilities.
You should see what happens when you knock the bad guys into them.
Clamoring is something, we want to make sure that the controls are elegant so that when you're progressing through the level, you don't get hung up on geometry. We want to have lots of alternate terrain and things for you to traverse over. So in this case, we have these boards in our way. If I push up against the boards, my character just immediately pops over. Very similar to like Power Stone and some of those games that we were influenced by years ago.